I'm Patrick Enright. I'm the executive producer of Kellan Adventures on the Spectrum. The documentary is about my 5-year-old, I believe he was 4-year-old at the time. He was diagnosed with autism a few years ago. So for me, I wanted to let people see what autism was. We hear a lot about autism these days. It seems like it's kind of exploded the last 10 years or so. So I kind of wanted to put a face to autism and kind of let people see what autism is, how it impacts children, and how it impacts the life of families who have to deal with it. Yeah, I mean, I think that when you make a movie or a documentary or short film or anything that is so personal, there's just the risk about putting yourself out there and putting your personal life and your feelings out there. It's not always the most comfortable thing, so you have to get past that, and you have to have faith in the people who are producing the documentary. We had a great group of students and professionals as well to do this documentary. So that helped a lot. And I knew some of them going in already. So that helped, I think. It helped us kind of drop the curtain a little bit and let them into our lives. So that was the hardest part. Scheduling was pretty easy because it was my family. So we we pretty much opened the door to everybody. But yeah, I think the hardest part is just letting people into your personal life. It's funny because it wasn't something I really spent a lot of time thinking about. It was a grad class that we were in, a filmmaking grad class, and we went around the table the first or second day of class, and people were pitching story ideas, and it just sort of occurred to me like this would be a really cool thing, but it's something we could look back at years from now, and hopefully we can look and see how much progress he's made from that. Now, the one interesting thing is during the filming, the film was supposed to be about Kellan, which is obviously it was called Kellan, Adventures on the Spectrum. But during the course of the filming, our 2-year-old at the time, someone suggested that he may also be autistic. So that was something that cropped up organically during the filming. And it's interesting because at the time we had him tested, and he was diagnosed with a speech delay and some other delays. And now he's still not talking really, but he is he has some words, and he's definitely trying with other words. So he's come a long way since we filmed, which is really cool to see. Honestly, this is the first film I've done. My background is TV news. I was in broadcast journalism for longer than I want to admit. And pretty much right out of college, I got into TV news broadcasting, and I did that for 23 years until I came back to the university. So this is really the first time I've done anything long form. I think the one thing about broadcast TV and the media industry as a whole is it's all about storytelling and finding the emotional center of stories. So to get people to care about whatever story you're telling, you need to find some emotional hook for them. And it's funny because when we first started putting together the Kellan documentary, there was a few times in the interviews where my wife got emotional, and I think I may have gotten emotional as well. And the editor at the time said, "I'm not sure I'm going to use these." I said, "What are you talking about? That's the hook. You have to use the emotion stuff, and that's what's going to draw people in and have them connect with you." I thought Kathy might. I wasn't. I'm pretty stoic. I don't feel like I'm somebody that gets very emotional very often, so I was a little surprised. But again, the person asking the question is someone I've known for several years, and I feel like we have kind of an emotional connection anyway. So it would have been different, I think, if it was a total stranger asking me the questions, but um, the person asking the questions knew me and kind of knew what to ask, and I felt comfortable with him. So it was eye-opening to see how much work went into it, and it was rewarding. I mean, I really enjoyed the experience, and I think we created something that was pretty powerful. So I thought it was very rewarding. If the opportunity presented itself again, I'd love to be involved again. I think that, I mean, first of all, get a good team, a team you trust, people you can depend on. I think telling stories that you're emotionally connected to is really important. Um, so when you're looking for stories to tell, look for look for things that impact you day to day, that you have a personal connection to. Because I feel like obviously you're going to be a lot more connected and a lot more. There's just a lot more emotional connection to those stories, and you're going to be a lot more committed to telling them and making sure that you're telling them fairly and honestly. Just the day-to-day work. But like I said, I'd love to, if the opportunity presents itself, I'd love to get into more storytelling. I've thought about down the road, perhaps doing an update, you know, seeing where we're at maybe 5 years from now. But I definitely feel like I'm definitely more interested in that medium, telling stories through film, than I was before I got involved. So I guess we'll just see. We'll see where the future takes us.